We're all ungrateful. Why? The fact that she gave us the pen, we think she gave us a pen. She didn't lack anything. She had 1,000 of them. So it's not like she needed the pen and she stopped her life for the pen. And we wrote whatever we wrote. We're thinking, at best case scenario, at best, if you're tzaddik, you're going to tell people, by the way, whatever I wrote, I got a pen from her. That's someone that's righteous. That's Avraham Avinu. You're going to say, by the way, guys, this whole lecture, 2.5 hours I'm talking, I wrote everything I wrote, somebody gave me the pen. Best case scenario. Best case scenario, I told you somebody gave me the pen. In reality, I'm not telling you anything. In reality, I wrote, no, I forgot myself that somebody gave me the pen. In reality. But what's the real reality? What's the cheshbonot of Shamayim? Cheshbonot of Shamayim, the math of HaShem, is that this person that gave you the pen is 100% a partner in every single outcome that comes out of that ink of the pen that she didn't get to give you. Meaning, not just what you wrote, but what happened from what you wrote. You wrote a chidush. You now wrote on little post-its. And now you're going to tell people, hey, by the way, Rabotai Yekarim, you have to do TeShuva because I have the chidush. Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to HaShem in a thing where it was a tefach, a small little space. And then all of you guys say, wow, I have to do TeShuva now. Why? Because HaShem, everything adds up in your head. You do TeShuva, you do TeShuva. What happens? Your life changes. Now you go home. You talk to your husband. Hey, wife, you have to do TeShuva. He does TeShuva also. Hey, husband, wife, you tell the kids, they do TeShuva. Each one of them does a mitzvah. When? Every day now. Why? Because the TeShuva. Every day the TeShuva. Every day do mitzvot. He wakes up. The husband all of a sudden puts tefillin on in the morning. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam. Ledech tefillin. Puts tefillin. Mitzvah. Then he does Shema Yisrael. Another mitzvah. Then he does Amidah. Another few mitzvot. Then he goes to eat something. Another mitzvah. Before he eat apple. Borech be'aretz. Another mitzvah. Then he goes to the bathroom. Another mitzvah. And what do the kids do? The kids are little ducks. They follow the father. Oh, he does mitzvot. We're going to do mitzvot. Why? Mitzvot are fun. So he does tefillin. We're going to do tefillin. He does Netilat Yadayim. We're going to do Netilat Yadayim. He does Amidah. We're going to do Amidah. Now the wife is going to do Kisur Rosh. Why? Because the husband's laying tefillin. How's she not going to cover her head if he's doing tefillin? So these are the mitzvot. Now how could I wear logically Kisur Rosh with a miniskirt? Can't wear a miniskirt if you think with your brain. If you think it's something else, then if your Kisur Rosh is only a style, you're going to wear a miniskirt. Like some people wear Kisur Rosh only because they like the fashion. They like the way it looks. If you're wearing Kisur Rosh because you like the way it looks, then it's not a mitzvah. It's just a fashion statement. If you wear Kisur Rosh because God told you to, then it's a mitzvah. So now she's wearing a Kisur Rosh with the scarf. And now she changes her clothes. And every time she puts on modest clothes, it's a mitzvah. And now they're going to eat kosher food. It's a mitzvah. And now they're going to say divrei Torah, mitzvot. And now the kids are going to grow up and make more mitzvot. And more mitzvot. And then they're going to have kids. And they're going to get married. And they're going to have married and then kids. And then their kids are going to do mitzvot. And who's the partner in all this?
The lady with the pen.
The woman with the pen. Are you sleeping? The woman with the pen. The woman with the pen. What HaShem? What? The woman with the pen.
What about the company that made the pen?
The company that made the pen, in Hashem's cheshbonot, probably them too. The woman with the pen, Rabotai Yekarim, the woman with the pen is 100% a partner in every single thing you did. You forgot she even exists. Give me the pen. What's the big deal? What I use? A little ounce or half a tenth of an ounce of ink? This is critical when you tell people, do Kiruv, give people CDs, sponsor 1,000 CDs, get people, even if 990 of them get thrown in the garbage, 10 people actually listen to them, 1 out of those 10 does tshuva, you want Olam Haba. You want 310 Olam Habas. People think it's a joke. They don't realize cheshbonot of Shamayim. They don't understand what it means. Somebody with a pen, by accident, gave you a pen, you ended up writing a chidush. They got themselves Olam Haba for what? For giving you a pen. What's the source? This all sounds nice. Sounds nice, right? What's the source? Now, let's understand why this is good and also dangerous at the same time. First, we'll start with the good. When you understand the value of things, when you understand the value of everything, you understand that there's even a pen can carry an eternal value. You start being more careful of who you ask for what. Little by little, you start realizing you could only ask one source. Who? HaShem. You don't ask people for anything anymore. HaShem, I need to get money. Send money. HaShem, I need a car. Send car. HaShem, I need a parking spot. Send parking spot. Why? First of all, you realize He's the only one that can really provide all this stuff. He may send you a person. He may send you the money through a person. He may send you the car through a person. He may send you the house through a person. But you didn't ask the person. You asked HaShem. You ask HaShem for everything. Why? Number one, you realize He's the only source that can provide everything. That's number one. But it's logical. You didn't need to shoot for that. What's the second reason? You realize that if you ask a person, you're not going to appreciate enough. If you ask a person for anything, you, by default, are not going to appreciate it enough. Why? Because you don't look at things that way. You look at it as just a pen. You don't look at the outcome of the ink, of what happened with the pen, and what happened with the speech, and what happened with the meeting, and what happened with the kids, and the kids' kids, and the grandkids, and all the... You don't look at all of that. Why? You're just trying to do TeShuva right now, trying to survive, trying to get Gan Eden. You're not thinking about what happened to all the things yet. After TeShuva, B'ezrat Hashem, you will. But you're simply thinking, He gave me a pen, which means you're not going to appreciate what anybody gives you enough. You're not going to appreciate anything. By default, you're not going to appreciate it enough. You're going to think, oh, you just give me a phone. Can I make a phone call from your phone? Yeah, sure. How many people ask you every time you're in the street, somebody, oh, can I make a phone call from your phone? Okay. Oh, thanks. You make a phone call, give it back, finished. What's the big deal? You gave me a phone. Can you text my mom for da-da-da? Yeah, sure. What's the big deal? I text. It didn't cost them anything. It's unlimited. Oh, can you send an email to this one for me? Can you give me a ride? Can you spot me $5 and I'll give it back to you later on? We just think it's just $5 or it's just an email or it's just a text. Because that's the way we look at things when it's purely based on desire. I had a desire. You satisfy my desire. As soon as you satisfy my desire, I forgot about my desire. I was hungry. You fed me. As soon as you fed me, I'm no longer hungry. So I'm not thinking about how I felt before I was hungry. I'm thinking I'm just not hungry. That's it. It finished. I'm no longer thinking about, oh, I'm not hungry because I was hungry, but you're the one that gave me the food. Because naturally, without deep musar, I'm only going to think things based on desire. As soon as the desire is satisfied, it's as if it never happened. Which means, if we ask things from people, the first fear we need to have, why didn't we ask for HaShem, from HaShem? Because He's really the only source. Second fear, now that we know, we're not going to appreciate it enough. What's the third fear? The third fear, Rabotai Karim, is the worst one. The third fear is you do know. You do know the magnitude of the ice cream that He gave you, or the pen that He gave you, or the folder, or the whatever He gave you. You do know the value of it. But now you realize I can never pay Him back. Why? Let's say He gave me a pen. Gave me a pen. I wrote a chidush. Later on in the week, I noticed he needed a pen. I gave him 10 pens. And he also wrote a chidush. In fact, he wrote 10 chidushim. I wrote one insight, I wrote one business plan, or one Dvar Torah, or whatever I wrote. And he wrote 10. That doesn't mean I paid him back. Why? My one had much more impact in the world than his did. He gave me a pen. The ink from his pen had a magnitude that affected 1,000,000 people. My 10 pens only affected 10 people. I'm still in debt. Why? Look at how much his pen did. Meaning, Rabotai Karim, when you know the value of it, you're always going to feel, I can never pay him back. If you understand it, you start becoming grateful. Why? Every single time somebody does anything for you, you're like, you know what? You're such an amazing person. Thank you so much. Wow, just give you a ride. Big deal. I was going there anyway. No, you don't understand. If you didn't give me a ride, I would have never got there. What do you mean? You had $5. You probably paid Uber to give you. Maybe they wouldn't have picked up. The point is, I got here now because of you. The point here, I wrote this because of you. The point, I ate this because of you. Had it not been you, it maybe would have never happened. To such an extent that the Gemara says, the Chafetz Chaim says, when someone goes and buys groceries in a store, he should say thank you with a full heart to the person that's the cash register. Why? He's doing him chesed. The cash register is doing you ultra kindness. Why ultra kindness? If he didn't take your money and give you a receipt, you would never have food. What do you mean? I would just use somebody else. Who says? Who says you would have gone to someone else? Who says you would have gone to another store? Meaning the cash register is responsible for you eating. That's machshavat Hashem. That's cheshbonot of shamayim, Rabotai. This is how far we are from the truth. It's deep. If you understand what I'm saying to you, it's deep. So now, on one end, we realize that all we really want is to ask Hashem for. But then we have to be grateful for Hashem. Second thing is, we know that if we ask from anything from anyone else, we're not going to be grateful anyway. Which also means we need to be grateful to Hashem. Third thing is, even if we were grateful, we know that we can never pay them back. Why? Because the magnitude of what they did for us, we can never pay back. Even if he gave me a sandwich and I gave him a sandwich in return, the effect the sandwich had on me is very different than it had on him. It could very well be that it had a much better impact on me. Now what's the danger in all of this? Someone that doesn't learn the first 100 Musar lessons and just starts over here, all of a sudden they're going to say, hey, you know what kind of pen I'm giving you right now? I'm changing your life right now with the pen. I'm changing your life with this pen. Don't just say thank you. You owe me your life for this pen. All of a sudden they're going to think everything they do is the most valuable thing in the world. Everybody owes them and they don't owe anybody else anything. So the Gemara says, what's a good guest and what's a bad guest? What's a good guest and what's a bad guest? A good guest, you host him for food, and he says, look at all the amazing food they made in my honor. What a good host. They made in my honor. Look at all this food. It's all tasty. It's all delicious. It's all good. Wow. They made all this food in my honor. That's a good guest. What's a bad guest? What's a bad guest say? A bad guest, Rabotai, says, he was eating anyway. It's a big deal. So I sat next to him. He was eating anyway. The food was going to go bad if he didn't give it to me. I was doing him a favor that I came over to eat because he made too much food. He made too much food anyway. So I did him a favor by eating it. That's a bad guest. What's a bad guest? And what's a good guest? A good guest, you give him a watermelon. He says, wow, look, he bought a watermelon just for me. He bought a watermelon just in my honor. Shabbat Shimon, what a nice guy this is. He bought I didn't think about buying him a watermelon, but he bought a watermelon just for me. What's a bad guest say? Look how cheap this guy is. He knows he has to give me food, drink, and some snacks, so he tried saving money. He bought the watermelon. The watermelon I can eat. The watermelon can be juice, and the watermelon seeds we can eat after as a snack. Look how cheap this guy is. That's a bad guest. That's a bad guest. That's the Gemara says. A wicked person, you know, when you have goggles, you have the small ones are here, and the big ones are far from you. So the small ones make you see things that are far, near. If you turn it around, and you look through the big ones, then whatever is near looks far. Because that's a wicked person and a righteous person. A righteous person sees his things, it's far away. Whatever he did, it doesn't have so much significance. I did him a favor, but who knows how much I really owe him? What do you mean? Just met the guy. Who knows? Maybe he did something for me before I even met him, before I even recognized him. A righteous person sees everything that everybody else does for them. Wow, that's a big deal. Thank you very much for giving me a ride. Thank you very much for $5. Thank you very much for calling me. Thank you very much for visiting me. Everything is a big deal. That's a righteous person. A wicked person, everything they do is the biggest deal in the world. But everything that everybody else does, he was doing it anyway. I was doing him a favor. I kept him company. Why? He was going to eat anyway. I kept him company. What's the big deal? Everything they do is a big deal. Everything everybody else does, so what? You know a few people like this? He realizes he's sick. He's spiritually sick. Nothing wrong with it. We're all spiritually sick. There's nothing wrong with being spiritually sick. There's something wrong with denying it.